Alright, man. I'll tell you one thing. I feel dumb as shit. And I did not want to make a video from like the feeling dumb thing because I'm just confusing myself on even what I think I'm looking for. Um, so like I look at, I guess this is on a 15-minute chart, but this is the first high after 8:30, but I know that these are all really relative equal highs, and I know I have this fair value gap up here. I'm looking at these bodies stopping right on that sell side line and not willing to take it, but then I guess I go down to a lower time frame. Well, let's even go to the hour chart. 9 o'clock opened, came up, hit this 1 hour order block, and ran it all the way down here. And then we traded up at 9 o'clock after pushing down. The first presented 15-minute fair value gap of the week hit it. Bodies respected it on the 1-minute chart and the 15-minute chart. 1-minute chart right here. And now we're all the way back down near this slope before this range closed. And so, like, it wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to take this. But on the other hand, I look at these relative equal highs up here and this gap up here as something to draw to, as well as this is buy side as well. Relative equal highs from overnight trading. So I don't know if I'm just getting tunnel vision or but like as far as I said, I didn't want to record it this morning was because like I just feel dumb and have really no idea what I'm looking for, I guess, to be honest. Or just feel confused with everything. Now looking at this, I'm curious if this will try and make it back up to the macro or the constant encroachment of this, or maybe past it up in the buy side. If it's using one of these order blocks in here, breaker, fair value gap, silver bullet, fair value gap trades into it. Respected the NWOG. Now we're back above the NWOG inside the opening range gap. I don't know how long I'll make a video for this morning. But I gotta find a way to get my head back in the game because I just got, whatever. I regardless of what this morning is doing, one of the problems that I feel like I have too many times is like when I talk about waiting for that extra leg of, well, there's a couple things. Things that I have problems with, having nothing to do with this morning. This morning is just a good example. And it's a good thing I'm recording already. If I was not recording and not verbally walking myself through what I'm looking at down here, I never would have acknowledged this order block right here. And I would not take a long, because I would be worried that it's going to take this low. If I was looking for a long, say at Turtle Soup this low, or already took it, and my whatever bias wasn't screwing my ability to take a long because of fear of taking this low, if I put my stop under these candles and went long in here, okay? The other problem that I would have, talking about always looking for that extra leg of confirmation, is there's a super high likelihood that I would not have entered long here and would have waited for it to get back up above, or just make sure it closes above the NWAG and possibly inside that opening range gap. So if that means I would have bought this candle instead of all the way down here, or what, most likely, but just a couple of things that go through my head, especially on the topic of, I guess, just being honest, trying to be honest with myself. So regardless of what I did, it did hit my macro fair value gap. There's 35 handles if I bought it there. And regardless of the fact that I didn't take the trade because of like this funk that my mind is in, dude, I gotta convince myself that I knew that I just got 35 handles and that I knew this. Or else, like, I just lack confident. But it's still, regardless of this little bit run in here, on a higher time frame, it's still, well, I'm going to try and hold my thought. I'm going to mark out quadrants on this real quick. Okay, so this 50% quadrant, consequent encroachment of this gap or range, is also the low of this NWAG, so I'm curious to see how it reacts off of that, especially also being within this fair value gap right here. If it does really get above this, I would be more looking for this high, but depending on how it interacts with this right here, these PD arrays in here, will maybe give me some more information on whether it's gonna wants to take this low or this high. But like, and back to my initial thought, regardless of this little run that we traded right here, it's still hard for me not to look at like 930 trading up. Here's a fair value gap. Here's an order block. Bodies respecting the order block. 15-minute fair value gap of the week. Coming all the way back down. Here's a fair value gap right here. There's my 50%, whatever. If it just wants to use this fair value gap to, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to talk myself through things. But I'm curious to see what it does around here in the next couple minutes. Guess I'm curious too because on a 4-hour chart, especially looking at where we're at, I feel like I would kind of be shocked if it didn't take this low right here. But I don't know, man. I don't want to guess. I'm just trying to figure things out. Okay. There's a big old candle. Here's an order block right here. Up into that macro fair value gap and consequent encroachment of that range. 5-minute fair value gap right here. The other one thing I don't know, but I'm curious about, especially after our conversation yesterday, talking about, it's 7:17 in the evening and it already traded through the first percent of fair value gap 3 times. Even though my silver bullet was a CB and I'm bearish, I'm not gonna trust it. And then 3 candles later, bam, you get your wick up, right? Seeing as it's 8:10, our 10 o'clock open is down here. For all intents and purposes, we've only traded up since 10 o'clock. But I feel like we're also at I'll say like a key point here, being as macro fair value gap, NWOG, consequent encroachment. Yeah, but then I look at that and, well, it's respecting the top of the, so far at least, it's respecting the consequent encroachment of the opening range gap. Okay. So, if this is what we're looking for right here, is the same thing going in your head as far as waiting? Like it's 10:19 and it's kind of sitting in here a little bit, and so I'm gonna at least wait until 10:30 and see what it does, or especially trying to, I guess in my mind, trying to figure out what side it's on specifically. wants to go, I guess. Like, I'm just confusing the shit out of myself all the time, man. I also have this first presented fair value gap up here, which is the lower half of the 15-minute first presented fair value gap. I feel like at this point it's wait until 10:30. Because regardless of respecting this down here, I also look at this, and at 9:30, we traded up, took out buy side, short, made a high, traded down, made another high, then came down, and we get these bodies respecting these two fair value gaps right here, and then proceeds to run all the way back down to take the initial low that we made at 10:30. After 10 o'clock, we took the low of 10 o'clock once, twice. Now it's trading back up into the range after taking multiple levels of buy side, and so I feel like that just also leads me to a more bearish conclusion. I don't know, man. Like, I just keep confusing myself because another fair value gap, change in state of delivery through the 50% level above the macro, or through the macro fair value gap. So there's the high of the NWAG. And we're in that 62 to 79% retracement level. Zzz. This is also the low of the 4-hour candle right here. And I think this is the high. This is the high of the 4-hour candle. So maybe I move this to right there. Even though we have all this. Let me just do this. You'll have to let me know. I have my washer and dryer going right now. If it's loud, and you can you can obviously see it shaking in my camera. Did you hear it on the microphone? Okay, this came down, hit the top of the end log, and the macro fair value gap. Maybe not. There's this 5-minute order block right here. 5-minute bodies respected that. I'm curious to see this real quick. I don't know, I'm playing around too much. Put this back. Put that back. Okay, we're back underneath the end log. I still kind of don't trust this high. There's this fair value gap right here. This is the bottom of it, and it didn't even touch it. And traded through this order block, which is another reason I kind of don't trust this high. Not normally do this in this situation, but if this candle closes above this macro fair value gap, I'm gonna buy it if it trades down. And just see what happens. My mind is a miserable place, man. If it closes down here, I'll just close it. like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't normally do that. Like, this isn't any sort of A plus setup for me, but it's so dumb to look. Not even like look back and be like, why did I do that? But like trying to keep it real, talking about like why did I in trying to press the button there, or like there's multiple reasons of why I don't trust this high right here and why I think this high will be taken. Like, but like just every little thing, like this is just such a fantastic example of every little thing just makes me feel so dumb. And I know that's like hard trading, you know, figuring out your own mind. Like, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time recently. I was doing totally fine like a week or two ago, and now I feel like I'm just losing it. Okay. So, couple things. Again, all having to do with my mind and confidence. But like this reaction off of this fair value gap right here is exactly what I was looking for right here. The reason I bought this up here was because I wasn't even sure that it was going to come down and touch this fair value gap before it runs all the way up here. Another thing, I didn't set a stop loss there. I never trade without a stop loss. Again, it was more or so just for my mind, and I'm gonna do this because I'm pretty sure this is right, and I need to just begin pressing the button, even though this is not like a fantastic setup for me. I mean, I guess looking at it now, like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But like, if there was nothing wrong with it, then one, why did I close it? Well, because it traded below the 50% again and pushed right back down below the macro after trading above this fair value gap. And I was looking at this one too. This candle also closed above this fair value gap, which we just made. So like, I don't know. And then the very next candle proceeds to push it all the way back up there. This is really what I was looking for. This wick down right here, and then goes to take that high, which I didn't trust. There's my order block. There's my fair value gap. Whatever. But like, this is, again, I'm glad I recorded this morning, because I was, as this was pushing up right there was a million different things going through my head. One, do I buy this again? Do I buy this again? And and have my take profit up here. But then I was already wrong, and I'm recording, and I don't want to be wrong again. Well, I wasn't even wrong. I'm just dumb, bro. But like, I can't like just this scenario happens to me so often. You know? Way too often. The other thing I will say, recording 100% helps. Because, like I was talking about earlier, this order block down here, regardless of, well, I don't know if it's going to go here or going to go here, bullshit in here, the market will show you things and you can take, and trying to convince myself, worst case scenario, you can take small little trades in here when the market structure is there. Given it makes sense, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so the fact that I'm recording and have to talk myself through all of the bullshit in here, if I wasn't recording, never would have done shit in here because I would have been scared of it taking this low regardless of the breaker, the order block, the fair value gaps, the silver bullet, regardless of all that bullshit, never would have done shit because I was scared it was going to take this low. Because I never would have done shit up here, I also never would have done anything up here for, I guess, a number of reasons. One, because in my mind, relative to this range or whatever, this is a premium, and I don't want to buy in a premium. Plus, with the market being the piece of shit that it is, it could, does it want to come all the way back down here and stop me out, and then continue up this way, or, there's just a number of things goes through my head. But again, when I record and force myself to do things and walk myself through things that I'm not so amazing at walking myself through things when I'm not recording, I don't remember where it was down here. I'm talking about, it wouldn't surprise me if it goes and hits the macro fair value gap. And then we get above the macro fair value gap, and I don't trust this high right here. I think this high is going to be taken. And boom, we go take the high after I take a beautiful trade on side and am artard about the whole situation. So, anyway. Alright, I'm going to end the video. I think that gives us enough to talk about later, but damn, bro. I'm glad I recorded it. At least I can say that. Peace out, bros.